Hey all, SMK Gaming here with the third video in this new aiming guide series I'm doing. Parts 1 and 2 are linked in the video information below and looked at the slowdown aim assist. Today we're looking at the Other aim assist in Battlefield 2042, and it is probably the most controversial one. It's described as an aimbot or auto aim by many, and that is the Zoom Snap aim assist. Firstly, I will detail the feature itself and how it works, and then I will go into why I don't use it and its drawbacks. So what is this Snap aim assist? Well, in the background here you can see that when I'm off target and you go to aim down sight, the crosshair automatically readjusts and moves to the nearest limb of the enemy player. I initially placed my crosshair on the same point off target each time, and this snap consistently occurs to the nearest limb, which in the case here is the enemy player's shoulder. What if I aim lower and to the other side of the player? Well, it will then consistently snap to the lower leg each time. The snap aim in Battlefield 2042 is more consistent than that of the one in Battlefield 5. In Battlefield 5, when aiming as low as this, it would have snapped to the player's waistline on many occasions. I never got that here. You can see that as I move around the player and place my crosshair in different locations off target, it always snaps to the limb of that player. In Battlefield 5, it would often have been the chest when aiming high, or if aiming low, it would have snapped more frequently to the waistline. The snap aim does appear to have a cooldown of around 2 seconds. I attempted to perform a snap, then move off target as quickly as I could, and then aim down sight again. On a few occasions it didn't perform the snap and I had to wait a little longer. This cooldown has been put in to prevent spamming it to try and stay on target rather than following your targets, and this makes perfect sense. But what about being further away from the target? Does this affect the strength or the ability to snap aim? Here in this side by side I am at 25 and 50 metres. There is no difference at these distances compared to when up close. When you're slightly off target and aim down sight, the snap to target is still performed. The final thing I have to go over regarding how snap aim works is the distance away from an enemy player for a snap to occur. The outer limit for this is illustrated here. I think this distance outside the player is being quite generous if I'm being honest. At least it doesn't snap to the main body parts, however. Now we're moving on to the drawbacks of snap aim and why I do not use it. Firstly, I believe I am good enough with my aim to aim for critical shots, that being shots to the head and chest. Snap aim does not or very rarely snaps here. The second reason relates to situations where you have multiple targets in front of you. Here are two enemy players side by side. One player is facing me and the other is facing away from me. You are clearly wanting to target the one looking at you first. I place my crosshair in between both of them, and it is a lottery of who it snaps to. It doesn't matter if you aim high or low here, there is no consistency regarding which player it chooses to snap to. If this occurs in an in-game situation and it snaps to the player facing away from you, well, you might kill them before the one facing you kills you. However, if it snaps to the one facing you, then you have a much higher chance to kill both. So if snap aim works in your favour, you could kill both. If it doesn't, you could kill none of them. So basically what I'm trying to put across here is whenever you've got snap aim on, things are up to chance and lottery. You have less control of where your aim is going to go. And that is further illustrated in the next two examples, which make using snap aim even more risky. Once again we have two players. One is facing me and the other is not, and slightly behind the other. Once again I will want to prioritise the target looking at me first. But this will never happen when I am moving my aim from left to right. It will always snap to the target which is closest to the crosshair, even if they are further away and behind another player. In an in-game situation, you would have to make a conscious effort here to have your aim to the right side of the player first before aiming down sight. That takes time you do not have to spare. The third and final example is similar to the previous one, except the player facing away from you has moved further back. This time I place my crosshair in the gap between both players to see where it snaps to. It doesn't matter where I place it, it snaps to the player further back and looking away from me each time. I don't think I need to explain here, folks, why this is a pretty bad thing to occur in game. So what are my recommendations here? Well, if you are somewhat good with your aim or are wanting to improve your aiming capabilities, then turn off snap aim completely. If you aren't confident with your aim and don't mind only being able to target the legs, shoulders, knees and toes, then play with it on. But you should expect situations like what I've shown you to arise a lot whenever there's so many players around. So that's it for the video, folks. I hope it's been informative and helped you out a bit. Expect more videos in this series. I'll be doing a laser aim video like I did in Battlefield 5 and a full settings guide as part of this series also. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, like up the video, leave a comment. All forms of interaction help promote the video. Take care everyone, and I will see you all again in the next one.